Hey guys, well, I am super excited to share with you our analysis of 2,366 winning expert quote pitches, and to hopefully give you some insight into what has worked for us exceptionally well in order to land the best links in the world pitching inbound journalist requests. So I'm not going to go through this in an intense amount of detail, but rather give you the highlights. We took all of our winning pitches and we were able to aggregate a bunch of data from those pitches. That includes the time that the journalist published them, to the time that we actually sent the pitch, content length of the pitches, and then insights on particular publications, specific journalists as well. We were able to identify how we were able to land such high authority coverage. And then we also, I was able to use the data to find out the certain industries that we do really well in as well, trends and changes as well. So as a point for the data that we've analyzed, we aggregated everything between HARO, Connectively, and SOS and assumed it to be the same source. So obviously we all know that HARO transitioned into Connectively. And now Connectively is closed down. SOS is a like-for-like replacement, as it's from the original founder Peter Shankman, and we're seeing pretty much all of the old source requests that were on Connectively shift over to SOS. So I think it's a fair assessment to have aggregated that in terms of the analysis of the data. And by no surprise, we can see 73% of our links came from that single aggregated source. An additional 12% of links was from proactive pitches. So that was where we would re-engage a journalist from a previous submission. And then around 15% of the links that we won were from much more niche service queries. That would include things like tracking journalists on social media for hashtag journal requests, and then other platforms as well outside of the mainstream. So fairly interesting that still we are finding this to be the most significant provider. Okay, publication and domain performance. So MSM was a big winner. That's due to the syndication that you can get from places like Express, Real Homes. We do find that MSN does follow syndicate a lot as well, which is nice. Go Banking was probably to no surprise another big winner. Finance Yahoo. All of the Yahoos actually Express as well. And then additional notable appearances: Homes and Gardens, House Digest, Ideal Home, GB News, and The Muse. And you can see a breakdown there. The domain rating distribution: 60% of the placements from the over 2,000 links that we landed were over DR80, and then 90% are over DR70. So I still think this is one of the best ways to win digital PR links. And the medium DR link sites was DR84. We actually offer a guaranteed average of DR70 or above on all of our packages. So if we fall below that, we'll build free links until we're above. But the data just allowed us to do that just because it's just so high quality, the coverage that we're able to get. Site traffic profile: over 50% of placements were on websites with over 1 million visitors, and 20% of the placements were on ultra high traffic sites with over 10 million organic monthly visitors. Obviously these are as per Ahrefs traffic estimates. And no surprise again, data suggests a strong correlation between high DR and high traffic, so maximum SEO value. Journalist success inquiry analysis. Cynthia Meemsum from Go Banking Rates was quite prolific. Angela Watson from Go Banking, and Leonardo Capiti from The Muse. Eve Smallman from Real Homes, and Alex Nelson on The National World. So these were the top performing journalists for those links. Pitch timing. This was a really, really interesting thing to be able to get data on, especially considering we track every pitch on the time that it's the inquiry, on the time that the inquiry is created, the journalist deadline that's given from the journalist, and the time at which we actually pitch. So we were able to get some really nice data from this. So 70% of successful pitches were submitted at least several hours before the deadline. So most pitches were quite a few hours before the deadline of the pitch. And fastest responses, so within an hour of the query posting, actually did have significantly higher selection rate. So that's really interesting as well. And then publication lag. So this is looking at the actual placement of the links. So the actual link going live between submission and that link going live. Medium time from pitch to submission, 9 days, which I actually thought was quite surprising. A lot shorter. However, 50% of the placements went live within 1 to 2 weeks, and 25% did take longer. Some pitches published within 24 hours, and that was more predominant in the breaking news, trending topics, news style publications. And you can see a nice breakdown of the data there. So pitch content performance, successful pitch length, average around 300 words. No surprise there, short and sweet. And a middle range of 100 to 400. Ultra short pitches, so anything less than 50 words, rarely succeeded. In fairness, we wouldn't have done many of those, but sometimes journalists do ask for just to introduce yourself. So, who are you? Let me know, and then I can send over some questions. So I believe the data would have been a little bit skewed towards that, as I think when journalists do that, they're actually looking for a very specific profile. So while we would answer them in the chances that we would, the journalists would come back with specific questions in order for us to do the pitch, it has skewed the data slightly. Detailed responses, so 400 words plus, performed well, especially, and the HARO SOS bucket. And then breaking it down by platform, HARO and Connectively, longer, detailed, so 400 words plus, correlated with success. Direct outreach, concise target pitches, had higher engagement. And then on response source and press plugs, moderate length pitches, so 150 to 250 words perform best. You can see a distribution of the word count there. Performance topics, so home and real estate, and finance and money and technology and travel were the bulk of our placements, and then career education, health and wellness as well. And yet you can see miscellaneous being a really big factor there as well. So skewing the data slightly as well, but a reasonable mix of available topics. And then seasonal trends was really interesting. Spring and early summer, peak media demand, and then late summer, career and education. And there's always a Q4 slowdown, which for obvious reasons, Christmas and holiday period. So recommendations from this data: leverage high return sources. So make sure you are on SOS. Strengthen your relationships with journalists. So yeah, we're seeing repeat requests from journalists that we have successfully pitched to before. Optimize that response time. Speed is of the essence. Match pitch length to opportunity. So learn each platform and the style, and even get more granular than that and learn the journalists and the styles and pitch lengths that they prefer, that you have more success with. Align the expert pool with in-demand topics. Plan around for seasonal trends. So know that you're going to get that Q4 slowdown. And then also capitalize on those syndication opportunities. So target those sites that syndicate, especially the ones that do follow syndicate, which can be places like MSN and Forbes. So I hope this has been of interest. The breakdown of our 2,366 winning pitches, and is giving you some interesting insight with actual data in how we can go out there and win more tier 1 links. Okay, thanks guys.